How's it going, YouTube? My name is andreasfroehlipoker, and today I got a hand for you from the £1 million tournament from the Triton High Roller Series in London. It's between Chidwick and Rajkumar. Hope you guys enjoy it.
And then would have got rivered.
Alright, so Vivek almost was a disaster for him. Now he's back to where he was, 18 million in chips. That's what he started the day with.
It's a little bit of a ride.
He could have had 5 million. It's going to open up the dealer button.
Before we head into post-flop play, I'm going to look at the pre-flop ranges. I do think that Chidwick has a very loose range with 20 big blinds here. He has to pay 250,000 to do 1.2 million, so I have him defend 80% of his range, folding the bottom 19% down here, all these offsuit combinations, and basically rejamming the best combinations that he can have, and also some of these nice blockers that are not as playable, but probably will be profitable reshuffling versus a wide button range. For the in-position player, I have made his range as well fairly loose, 47%. First in open, Bill Perkins was in a small blind, maybe not rejamming as many hands as some other players, even though it wasn't just 10 big blinds. This might be a little bit too loose, especially when it comes to the suited connectors at the end, because they have not great removal and they will get rejammed on quite frequently. But I have some decent postal playability against a 20 big blind stack depth, with the big blind, so I have them still as an open.
Look at Vivek's face. His face on that all-in was priceless. He knows like how insane it was. In Big Al, they hear it. Big Al fold an ace as well.
So Chidwick, he defends the big blind. He is started the day second place. Currently, I believe in last place. He's going to check his top pair after defending to Jack 5. So very small continuation of it from Rajkumar, pretty much trying to just take it down. Denying its opponent equity. Now if you're Chidwick, you got top pair, 20 big blinds. You might check raise sometimes. Definitely represent some bluffs. I think the standard is to call. He is going to call.
When Chidwick checks it over to Rajkumar, he is maybe gonna choose something like a quarter pot with his anti-range just to simplify his strategy. Here I gave PO two options, betting half pot and betting quarter pot. And you can see that it's still gonna be somewhat mixed, and that some of the hands like kings and queens prefer to bet a little bit bigger just because they get more value, more protection that way, as they're not interfering with the board. Anyway, Rajkumar chooses a quarter bet size, and when we choose that option, we can see that the out of position player has a lot of auto folds, all these king high and queen high hands. Because he got such a good price before the flop, he will have that in his range, and then also these suited gapped hands, they can no longer defend, and a lot of basically folds as well, having no backdoor flush draw and king high. You can see that king high and queen high here are still going to be folded. And then, some of the time also, some of these queen high backdoor flush draws is going to be bluff raised, whether it has a 4-3 deuce with it or not. And then also the out of position player, Chidwick, he is going to do a bunch of raising here versus this almost range bet with a lot of his top pairs. And then his hand, exactly Jack 5, is going to be a little bit mixed, and sometimes it's going to raise, but the majority of the times is going to call.
Queen on the turn. He's going to give Vivek a little equity. Hit a 10 to make a straight, but not a good straight.
Yeah. It's an interesting one.
Looks like he's going to reach for more chips. I like this, actually. If you think about it, the queen actually doesn't hit Chidwick that much, because sometimes Stevie Chidwick is going to 3-bet jam like king queens, queen 10 occasionally, ace queen.
Yeah.
So what queens does he have? You're not going to check call like queen 8 on queen 7 on the flop. It's a pretty cool bet, actually, from Vivek. Very good hand reading.
Yeah, gonna put a lot of pressure on a 9 as well.
but it seems like Chidwick's going nowhere. Still going to make the call.
The turn is the Queen of Spades, and if you look at the PIOSolver strategy here, the in-position player Rajkumar here has a bet with a spade and the ace-8 also the majority of the time, and it's betting much less when Rajkumar doesn't have a spade. He's also betting with a lot of his top pairs and draws, and also, second pairs, and for example, open-ended straight draw like the Check 10 offsuit here. And basically a pretty decent turn overall. If you look at the in-position EV is 10. The out of position player doesn't realize as much with 7.5 of this 18 pot, which in that case will be 1.8 million. Now, if we look at the out of position player facing this bet, he has a raise with a couple of hands that improved. You can see that if you make a 10-8 straight, you're generally be looking to raise this hand here for an all-in sizing. We would be looking to bluff some of the hands like 10-7 of spades and also raise all in. And then a bunch of these turned top pairs or two pairs here, Queen 9, and then even turned to a pair like Queen 8 could be raising here on the turn against the double barrel. And King 10, the nuts, is going to be mixing between raising and calling. If you look at Chidwick's hand, Jack 5 offsuit, it's just going to basically continue by calling the ones that he didn't raise on the flop.
Dialed in. He's ready. He's in there.
But you're still going to get called by hands like 10-9, Jack 10, a lot of 10s in there. So I don't think Vivek was completely surprised he got called. And I think if he does bet this flop and this turn card, he should consider bluffing the river. How much you got left? That's the, I'm thinking about putting you all in play.
Vivek just acquired back his stack. He is in there maneuvering with them, putting some heat on. 3.5 million in the pot, less than a stack to pot ratio of 1 for Chidwick. Critical pot.
Well, every time Vivek has put in one of those time bank chips, he's shoved it all in. So
would be quite a decision for.
I would love to see him shove it all in. It just seems to make sense that there's a lot of one pair straight draw type hands that would call this flop and turn.
All in.
All
he does
in.
Go for
Amazing.
It. It's gonna put this test to Stevie. And again, Stevie is not a player that is afraid. He is very capable. He knows what's going on. He knows what's the possibilities here. He realizes Vivek is chip leader. He's capable. But man, talk about a tough spot. I wouldn't want to be there with the Jack 5 kicker. Even with, there's just a lot. He just threw all the time bank chips in. He just Leroy Jenkins time bank chips. He just knows it's gonna be. This could be a while. Wow.
So Stevie. The clear obvious bluff is the spade draw, like the ace 10. Vivek actually has ace 8. This is very tricky because Vivek actually has a lot of value here. Queen 10s, king queens, queen X of course. Of course, two pair plus, straights 10-8, king 10.
I'll tell you.
There's a lot. There's a bluff.
There's a lot happening, man. Chidwick is in the matrix right now, working it out, thinking about it. Maybe you talk about poker, live poker, one of the game's greatest players. He does call.
My God.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
The river is the 6 of hearts, and Chidwick checks it over to Rajkumar, who now shoves all in with the ace-8 offsuit. And this is not going to be consistent with the solver strategy here because ace of spades will block some of the check call, check fold, such as the wheel suited aces. So if Chidwick did not jam all in with the wheel suited ace 2 through ace 5 suited, having the ace of spades is kind of a bad card here to have on the river because you can no longer get the folds from these hands in your opponent's shoes. And then also the 8, even though it is bluffed in the king 8 offsuit because that hand also does not block these ace x hands that could be folding, then the 8 is also a bad card because if you look at the folding range from the out of position player, we can see that from these 60 combinations, there's going to be a lot of 9-8 in there, basically that would be folding on the river. So you don't want your opponent to basically not have another 8, and removing one of those 8s is going to be bad as a bluff as well, and it's going to reduce the EV of shoving substantially, basically, as a bluff here. If we look at the calls, however, we can see that also Jack 5 would not be called the majority of the time, but be called sometimes. So Chidwick clearly here choosing to be calling, maybe based on a read or based on, you know, whether, yeah, he thinks that Rajkumar has a couple of more bluffs and makes the call here. I thought that this hand in particular was really suitable to basically display the solver information in this video. Let me know in the comment section below if you prefer this over just analyzing it without displaying the solver information in the future. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up down here. You know, basically trying to put in the work here, dissecting some hands. Would really appreciate your support. And if you want to see some more hands in the future like this, also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you want to be informed with a push notification. Thanks for watching. See you guys for the next time.